Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala nabiyhi wa mustafah wa ba'd. My dear brothers and sisters, welcome once again to another live edition of your program Ask Huda. Our phone numbers beginning with area code are 002, then 0238555132. Alternatively, area code 002, then 0100546923. The Facebook page should appear on the bottom of the screen. And without any further ado, we have many questions, mashallah. The first question is from Sabah from Pakistan. She has three questions. The first, do women need to wear socks? According to the vast majority of the Muslim scholars, Imam Malik, Shafi'i, Ahmad, and obviously the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, yes, the feet of a woman is awra, whether in the prayer or outside the prayer before men who are non-mahram. We have a couple of references, and when I said the vast majority of the scholars, with the exception of Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, who said it is not awra, while in the hadith of Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was commanding men to shorten their thawb, not to be below their ankles. So Salama radiallahu anha inquired from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam whether women have to do the same thing. She said, what about women? He said, yurkhinahu shibran. So their attire, their aba'a, their thawb, their izar should be low, so that it would be covering the feet. She said, then it may show their feet if it is only one hand span. He said, إِذَنْ يُرْخِينَهُ ذِرَاعًا. The dhira' is an arm's length. It's like 1 yard. So the Prophet ﷺ from this hadith instructed women to wear the long garment in order to cover the feet. She doesn't really have to wear socks, okay? If she's wearing a long gown or long garment that is covering the feet. In the other hadith, when Salama radiyallahu anha asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam whether is it permissible for a woman to pray in dir'a and khimar alone, he said, if the dir'a or the outer garment is long enough to cover the feet, then it is permissible. So the point is covering the feet, whether through wearing a long gown, long garment, or if not, then in this case, wearing a pair of socks. The second question from Sister Sabah is, do we have to wear hijab when alone in the hotel room, or can we remove them? If you are by yourself in any place, you are free to remove the hijab. The hijab is compulsory only whenever you are before men who are not your mahram. But nowadays, what we see in the news and on the YouTube, that the spy devices are being installed in the fire alarm, in the light fixtures here and there, one really have to be extra careful. But as far as if you are in any room, whether a hotel room or a relative's house, and you are by yourself in the room, you're not required to wear hijab. You just have to take precaution in case that the place is not reliable. The third question is, are there any special adhkar to be recited during Hajj, and what do we recite in Arafat? To answer this question, I highly recommend for you to watch our program Hajj Step by Step. Meanwhile, I'd like to bring to your attention, my dear brothers and sisters, the adhkar which are to be recited according to the Sunnah is, number one, making the talbiyah once you are in line with the miqat. لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. Labbaik is a word of submission. Here I come to you, O Allah, to answer your call. When you called upon us to come and visit your house. لا شريك لك, there is no partner to you. إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك, indeed all the praise, the favor, and the domain belong only to you. لا شريك لك, once again there is no partner to you. And it is recommended to keep reciting the talbiyah in the bus, in the train, in the plane, while walking, going upstairs, going downstairs, until you reach the haram. And once you're ready to begin your tawaf, you stop making talbiyah. Once you begin your tawaf and you mention the name of Allah, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, from the black stone corner, you can recite any adhkar that you have in mind, tasbih, tahmeed, or otherwise. There is no specific adhkar for each round, as some people may think. This is not true. The only prescribed dhikr or supplication that the Prophet ﷺ used to recite between al-Rukn al-Yamani and the black stone corner, which is an invocation we learn from Surah Al-Baqarah. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Sada from the USA.
How are you?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm doing fine by the grace of Allah. Thank you so much for asking. Hope you and your family doing good as well.
Alhamdulillah, but need your prayers for my family. You know, I've been calling all the time just to Shaykhana, my question is that no matter how much I try, like about the salat time, I cannot be punctual. I cannot be doing all 5 salats, no matter how much I understand that it's important. But somehow I lose 1 or 2 salah every time. And I regret that so much. Is there any way I can correct myself and my family? Please, I need your du'as and something to be, you know, me perfect in the prayers.
Okay. Sadaf, I want you to learn this supplication right now and keep it in mind. I want you to invoke Allah with this supplication all the time. رَبِّ جَعَلْنِي مُقِيمَ الصَّلَاةِ وَمِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِي رَبَّنَا وَتَقَبَّلْ دُعَاء. This is a supplication that Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam supplicated and invoked Allah with. It is the ayah before the last of Surah Ibrahim, peace be upon him. رَبِّ جَعَلْنِي مُقِيمَ الصَّلَاةِ وَمِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِي. So this is for masculine. My Lord, make me of those who establish the prayer, myself and my offspring. رَبِّ جَعَلْنِي مُقِيمَ الصَّلَاةِ وَمِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِي رَبَّنَا وَتَقَبَّلْ دُعَاء. Our Lord, accept our prayers, accept our invocation. A dua is the sharpest weapon, and it is the most successful means of fulfilling your need. Sometimes a person in a state of relapse, especially after Ramadan, sometimes a person slows down, sometimes a person is distracted for a reason or another. So ask Allah the Almighty, as the Prophet ﷺ used to do, Ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik. O Allah, the one who changes the hearts, keep my heart firm on your religion. Keep my heart firm on your religion. Okay, so this supplication should appear on the screen. It is the ayah before the last of the page before the last. Okay, it is a beautiful ayah, and I highly recommend you supplicate and you ask Allah the Almighty with this supplication all the time. Actually, the 2 consecutive supplications. رَبِّ اجْعَلْنِي مُقِيمَ الصَّلَاةِ وَمِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِي رَبَّنَا وَتَقَبَّلْ دُعَاء رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لِي وَلِوَالِدَيَّ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَوْمَ يَقُومُ الْحِسَابِ. Okay, so with regards to what else can encourage you to offer the 5 daily prayers, there are a lot of things, tons of things. Subhanallah, in Surah Hud, Allah the Almighty stated, وَأَقِمَ الصَّلَاةَ طَرَفَيِ النَّهَارِ وَزُلَفًا مِنَ اللَّيْلِ إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ يُذْهِبْنَ السَّيِّئَاتِ ذَلِكَ ذِكْرَى لِلذَّاكِرِينَ. So offering the prayers is not only because I am mandated and obliged to pray. It has countless virtues and benefits. Number one, it brings you close to Allah. Number two, it relieves you from the burdens of the daily trouble. Number three, it erases the sins which were committed in between. That is from the ayah, إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ يُذْهِبْنَ السَّيِّئَاتِ. Indeed, the good deeds which refer to offering the prayer here remove the bad deeds. And it is indeed one of the means of giving thanks and showing gratitude to Allah the Almighty for His countless blessings. So one have to be very keen to offer those prayers on time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Amira from the USA.
Wa assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have three questions. The first one is what causes a person to have a seizure? Because my cousin, her sister also have a seizure, and I'm trying to find out what is the dua that we can make for him.
You mean your cousin have seizures?
Yeah, her sister or son.
Okay, you're talking about he's epileptic?
I'm sorry?
Do you mean that your cousin's son is epileptic?
Yeah, he keep having a seizure on and off.
I understand. I got the question, but my question to you now is: he diagnosed with epilepsy, or is it seizures for no reason?
It's a seizure for no reason.
For no reason. So the doctors did not diagnose this as epilepsy.
No, not that I know of. No.
Okay. Thank you, Sister Amira. The reason I asked, because we have to distinguish between what is clinical and what is physiological, and what could be due to perhaps being affected by the jinn, which may definitely cause seizures, okay, or fits. If it is the first one, then besides making dua for that person, and reciting the ruqya and so on, the person has to visit the doctor, the specialist. And there is a medication for epilepsy in order to avoid the fits and the seizures. And the person have to take the medication on regular basis. And obviously there is a list of instructions: not driving, etc. But if it is not epilepsy, if it is not something clinical or physiological, in this case, al-ruqya is definitely prescribed, because the person most likely is affected by the jinn. So there are some people whom Allah the Almighty blessed with the power of reciting Quran upon such people in order to do exorcism and to expel the evil souls or spirits, jinn, from the bodies. Do we believe in exorcism? We believe in exorcism only through the recitation of the Quran in order to drive out of the body of the person the jinn or Satan. May Allah the Almighty give him shifa. But keep in mind, Sister Amira, my answer is not to be taken from the middle. I initially said, please check with the doctor that he is not epileptic. If he is, that's a different story. Barakallahu fikum. Going back to, I would like actually to shed some more light on Musadaf's question from the USA, and sometimes slowing down, lagging behind on offering the prayers, sometimes 1 or 2 prayers a day, and I regret afterward. Regretting is a good sign that, alhamdulillah, shukla, you realize the importance of offering the prayer. But besides that, also the person must understand it is not with the choice to pray or not to pray. It is not something that you do it whenever you like. It is a mandatory duty that once you accept Islam and you become a Muslim, the Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, said, As-salatu amudud din. Imagine you're having a tent and there is one pole in the middle which the whole tent is erecting upon. This pole is the prayer. If the person doesn't pray, and if this pole is not there, then the tent will collapse. And the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever abandons it has indeed abandoned and destroyed his deen. Yeah, you're right. You may think that this is, for a person who abandons the prayer completely, but also leaving one prayer is also a major sin. The Prophet ﷺ said to a person who caught up with sleep or forgetfulness, من نام عن صلاة أو نسيها فليصليها متى ذكرها لا كفارة لها إلا ذلك. If you oversleep or you forget about the prayer, then make it up once you remember it, once you get up, and there is no other ransom for it other than that. I mean, you don't have to pay a penalty or give in a charity as a mandatory duty to make up for the missed prayer. Just make it up once you remember. But to neglect it deliberately, look and listen to the warning that Allah the Almighty delivered to Bani Israel as generations after generations started taking it easy with their prayers. In Surah Maryam, Allah the Almighty said, فَخَلَفَ مِن بَعْدِهِمْ خَلْفٌ أَضَاعُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَاتَّبَعُوا الشَّهَوَاتِ فَسَوْفَ يَلْقَوْنَ غَيًّا. There are two important messages in this ayah. The ayah is talking about Bani Israel and some of the generations of Bani Israel who started behaving with negligence regarding their prayers. So as a result, they followed their desires, neglecting the prayer or postponing the prayer from their fixed times or praying every now and then or skipping some prayers would definitely lead to following the desires. فَسَوْفَ يَلْقَوْنَ غَيًّا. Allah warned them with a very severe warning, which is a severe punishment in an-nar or a valley in an-nar. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. May Allah protect us against that. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Safiya from the UK. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Safiya.
Assalamu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Please go ahead.
Sheikh, I would like to ask, if I miss a prayer like Maghrib and Isha due to sleep, and I woke up like Fajr, what do I have to do in that case?
You woke up before Fajr or after Fajr?
Fajr time. Exact Fajr time.
Okay. Well, in this case, Sister Safiya, begin by praying Maghrib and Isha. Then you pray your Fajr once the Adhan is called or once the time has entered. This is basically explained in the previous hadith which I just shared with you. مَنْ نَامَ عَنْ صَلَاةٍ أَوْ نَسِيهَا. So once you wake up, offer the missed prayer and keep the order. Barakallahu feekum. Thank you so much. With regards to the special adhkar during Hajj, I said in the tawaf, the only prescribed invocation is between الركن اليماني and the black stone corner. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. I claim that this supplication is the greatest supplication ever, because you don't need to ask for anything else. It's basically encompassing every need that you may desire or dream of, whether pertaining to the worldly life or the hereafter. Atina, give us a goodly reward in this life and a goodly reward in the hereafter, and protect us against the fire of hell. And I normally say, if one asks, if this supplication is so virtuous, can I keep reciting it throughout the tawaf and sa'i? Absolutely. What is perceived as innovation is what you see when some people holding booklets or pads that have, I sometimes I take a glimpse over what they're reading. So each round and each circle has a supplication which was phrased by a sheikh, a local sheikh, or a leader. Now this is perceived as innovation. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ never prescribed anything else like that. Rather, if you, while performing tawaf, you happen to recite Quran, that will do it. Perfect. You happen to seek forgiveness. Perfect. You happen to pray for your loved ones, family members, the whole ummah. That's perfect as well. Recite in the morning or in the evening your adhkar. That's perfectly fine as well. Say al-baqiyatu salihat, the remaining everlasting good deeds. Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar. Perfect. And this is much better than going with the flow and repeating after somebody who doesn't even know what he is reciting, because he's reciting with major errors. So to me it's obvious that this person is non-Arab and doesn't understand what he's reciting. He's making major errors. Communicate with Allah the Almighty even through your mother tongue and your own language. In the sa'i, they begin with La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, the prescribed adhkar as in the program, and you say the same at Al-Marwa 3 times. While walking back and forth the 7 rounds, any dhikr you choose. With regards to the day of Arafah, there is a particular hadith in this regard. The Prophet ﷺ said, خير الدعاء دعاء يوم عرفة. The best invocation is the one which is recited on the day of Arafah, because it is the greatest day of the entire year. And if this is the case, the Prophet ﷺ followed that by saying, وَخَيْرُ مَا قُلْتُ أَنَا وَالنَّبِيُّونَ مِنْ قَبْلِي. The best saying that I have ever said, or the messengers before me have ever said, is to say the kalimah, to declare the oneness of Allah the Almighty. This is the dearest word to Allah. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير. Overall, my dear brothers and sisters, and now many people inshallah prepare to go for Hajj, remember that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إنما جعل الطواف بالبيت والسعي بين الصفا والمروة ورمي الجمار من أجل ذكر الله. The main wisdom behind prescribing circumambulating around the Kaaba and running between As-Safa and Al-Marwa, or throwing the stones, and obviously the rest of the rituals of Hajj or Umrah, is to commemorate and celebrate the praises of Allah the Almighty. Okay, my dear brothers and sisters, let's take a short break and we'll be back inshallah in a few minutes. Please stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters, welcome back. The first question we have from Amanullah is, what is ruling in Islam regarding the venue of marriage? Is it compulsory for the nikah to be held in the masjid? Nope, it is neither compulsory nor is it even the sunnah. You can only say that it is permissible, provided you keep the purity of the masjid and respect of the masjid. I mean that even though there is a very common hadith where people say أعلنوا هذا النكاح واجعلوه في المساجد واضربوا عليه بالدفوف, this is a weak hadith. It is collected by Imam Tirmidhi, narrated by Aisha radiallahu anha, and it means that you should announce the wedding and you should keep it in the masjid, and you should beat the drum or the duff to announce it. You know, some of these statements like announcing the wedding is actually prescribed. Also beating the drum or the duff during the wedding is permissible to show joy and delight. But with regards to the recommendation of keeping it in the masjid, it requires a sound reference. So if a person does the wedding party in the masjid, no problem, but it is not really mandatory or compulsory, as you say. Recently, I was invited to give a talk in a wedding in a masjid, a big masjid, and what a shame. What a shame. I saw women who were coming to attend the wedding party in a Muslim country wearing, mini skirts, okay, revealing their beauty and their aura, so much so that you think that they're going to a nightclub, not to a masjid, claiming that we are not really concerned about the masjid, we're coming to the party, okay. In addition to the musical instruments in front of the masjid, not in the courtyard of the masjid, and so on. So إنما يعمر مساجد الله من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر. We have to understand that the masajid were not built for that. Is it permissible to throw the walima in the masjid? It is permissible, provided that you keep the purity and the cleanness of the masjid. So this is one of the ways of advertising or announcing the wedding, the walima, the feast. But the venue does not have to be in a particular place. You take a Nile cruise, you take a hall, a wedding hall, all of what happens is, what do you do during the wedding? Some people do invite everybody, as I just explained, men and women wearing, not proper clothes, and allow them to have this free mingling. Then they get up and they dance together and all of that. Is this a way to give thanks to Allah for giving you the gift of your spouse, of getting married? And some families convince their daughter, look, this is the lifetime night, this is your wedding night. She is normally wearing hijab, but for the sake of the wedding, it's okay to remove your hijab and you go to the hairdresser and you wear the makeup. It's only one night, and it is recorded with hundreds of cameras on the phones or on these professional cameraman, and it's spread all over, and sometimes it is on the YouTube. Everyone who sees you, you're responsible for that, and your husband is responsible for that. Allah the Almighty says, وَإِذْ تَأَذَّنَ رَبُّكُمْ لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. Your Lord have declared that if you're thankful, if you're grateful, Allah shall give you more. But when Allah blesses you with a gift and you disobey Allah and utilize this gift to upset Allah the Almighty, then what a shame. May Allah guide us to what is best. The following question is, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Let's not mention the name of the questioner. It's about a husband and wife relationship. But after this call, Assalamu alaikum. Ahmed from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum, brother Ahmed. Okay, please try again. We have another caller, Aisha from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum, Aisha.
Assalamu alaikum, ya Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I hope you are doing fine.
Go ahead, Sister Aisha.
Assalamu alaikum. I have two questions, ya Sheikh.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Regarding Zakat. My first question is about Zakat for gold. Gold that you wear like as a jewelry. Do you need to pay Zakat on it? And my second question is about Zakat of crops like, say, rice. If you start farming rice, irrigation farming, and ended up with rainwater, you started irrigation and finished with rainwater, how do you pay the Zakat?
Okay.
And I had this hadith about the Zakat for gold jewelry, that a woman went to the Prophet ﷺ with her daughter wearing gold bangles, and he said, have you paid Zakat for it? I want to know if the hadith is sound or the hadith was fabricated.
Okay. Thank you, sister.
Thank you, ya Sheikh. Jazakallah.
Wa jazakum. Thank you, sister Aisha from Nigeria. Okay. The question which I was about to answer is, what should a wife do if she feels irritated every time her husband comes around her or touches her, and she feels so tired of her husband? Can I ask for a divorce? That's a very dangerous condition when the relationship between the husband and wife degrades to this level, where the wife feels irritated whenever the husband even tries to touch her. So it may happen due to one of two reasons: either because the husband is mistreating her, or because before marriage she never got to know him or to meet him, and she, after they got married, a few days later she figured out that she's marrying maybe a monster, or a person whom she doesn't like even to look in his face. So in this case, we look into what is known as Khula. But the other condition is perhaps they are affected by an evil eye. They were a loving couple and everything was working fine, but they keep talking about their very decent relationship, wonderful love and all of that before their colleagues, and they may have been affected by the envy or evil eye. So a ruqya will be very effective before seeking divorce. According to the first condition, I'll tell you what happens in this condition after this call. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Abu Sami from Morocco.
Yes, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, alhamdulillah, shukrillah.
How is everything?
Wonderful. Thank you for asking, Abu Sami.
I thank you first for this program. I really like it so much. It really helps us to express out.
I feel sorry that we lost your call. Please try again, Abu Sami from Morocco. And thank you for your compliment anyway. What is Khula? In Surah Al-Baqarah, in ayah number 229, Allah the Almighty stated that it is not permissible to take anything from the dowry that you gave to the wife, to the bride, in order to marry her. Then he made an exception. He said, إِلَّا أَن يَخَافَ أَلَّا يُقِيمَ حُدُودَ اللَّهِ فَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ أَلَّا يُقِيمَ حُدُودَ اللَّهِ فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْهِمَا فِيمَا افْتَدَتْ بِهِ. What does it mean? It means, as I said, it's not permissible to take anything out of the dowry which you paid to your brides. But in case that the marriage relationship is not working out fine, and basically the husband has no fault, it is simply that the wife who cannot tolerate him, she is afraid that she will not be fulfilling her duties towards Allah and towards her husband. Then Allah the Almighty said, فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْهِمَا, then there is no blame upon both of them, فِيمَا افْتَدَتْ بِهِ, if she offers to give him back, for instance, his dowry, and she says, hey, set me free. I don't want to remain in this marriage relationship. Is it permissible? In case that it is impossible to reconcile, and in case that the husband, there is nothing wrong with the husband. You know, if the husband is abusive, she goes to the court and she gets a divorce and she gets all the compensations and she keeps the dowry or whatever she collected from this man. But we have in the hadith which is collected by Imam Bukhari the story of Thabit ibn Qais, may Allah be pleased with him, whose wife, she was a lady companion, she was a good woman as well, but she came to the Prophet ﷺ and she said, O Prophet of Allah, I do not blame Thabit for any reason, whether religious or worldly. It is simply that I'm afraid I will be committing a big sin. I detest him, I dislike him, I don't like to look in his face, you know. So the Prophet ﷺ, she expressed about it by saying, وَلَكِنِّي أَكْرَهُ الْكُفْرَ فِي الْإِسْلَامِ. So the Prophet ﷺ said, أَتَرُدِّينَ عَلَيْهِ حَدِيقَةً, will you be willing to give him back and to pay him the dowry that he paid you, which was in the form of a garden? She said yes. So in this case the Prophet ﷺ ordered Thabit ibn Qais to take back and accept the garden and to separate from her. In the case of Khula, it is not even required for the husband to give a consent or to give divorce, because sometimes the husband loves the wife so much and he says, no, 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 I cannot live without you, but she cannot live with you. Life is impossible between both of you. Zero chemistry. In this case, if he refuses to give divorce peacefully, then the judge, or if you are in the West, the counselor, the Muslim imam, would separate them simply through the khula. And hey, how much you paid? 100 grams? Take your 100 grams. That's called khula. Better than all of that, if the wife says to the husband, look, for some reason I cannot tolerate living with you. I would appreciate if we separate. And peacefully he says, okay, let's try to work it out, to work out something and see what is the problem. If it doesn't work out, then I will divorce you. And you keep the dowry and everything. That would be very nice, super nice of him. Otherwise, the judge would give the khula, and it is prescribed according to the hadith. The question that I received from Sister Aisha from Nigeria, actually she has two questions. One question concerning the the zakah on women's jewelry, and again, simply according to the vast majority of the scholars, if a woman wears her jewelry and it is for adornment, there is no zakah due on it. While in the opinion of Imam Abu Hanifa, which I support and I back up and I adopt, that if a woman has a decent amount of gold, even if she wears them, she must pay zakah on that. Because the Prophet ﷺ ordered Aisha to do the same when she was wearing fatakhat, silver rings, and he spoke to another woman who had a girl wearing 2 bracelets of gold, and he said the same thing. So the Prophet ﷺ ordered these two, the woman and Aisha radiallahu anha, to pay zakah on that. The second question is zakah on grains. There is zakah on grains provided two conditions. The first is an-nisab, which is khamsatu awsaq, and al-wasaq is approximately 300 sa', and we said the sa' is approximately 2.5 kilogram, 2-3 kilogram. Okay, so if the harvest is that much and you have seen the grains, there is no zakah before the crops are grown up or ripe. So in this case, then there is zakah due. How much the rate of the zakah will be determined based on the method of irrigation. If the field was irrigated naturally by the rain, then you pay 1/10 of the crops to give it in zakah. If it was irrigated solely through the machines and the irrigation system, then it is 1/2. If it is both, then it is in between 7.5. My dear brothers and sisters, by that we've come to the end of today's edition of your program Ask Huda, and until next time, I leave you in the care and the protection of Allah the Almighty. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate